So here I am. I finished all my questions. I have all my answers checked correctly. I'm all set. How do I play? Okay, so if you notice, you have a blue button over here on the left. It says Finish Kit. So we're going to click on it, and it will just go right into your queue. So it usually goes to the top. We're going to click on Play Live. So as you can see on the right-hand side, you have two options. You can assign it for homework. That means it's self-paced and they can play it on their own, or you can play it live. So we're going to click Play Live. And we have a bunch of options, okay? So to start, I would probably click the Classic League or the Classic setting so you can kind of get acclimated to it. Every once in a while, Gimkit will release like their special game. So you have this one is The Floor is Lava. That was special for a while. There was Trust No One, which is like the game Among Us. That was a special game for a while. And then you have these other modes. You can do team mode and classic mode. They're the original modes, and they're kind of the ones that I would probably start off with. So we're going to look at the classic mode. So I'm going to click on that. And you have a bunch of options here. Okay, so you can have a timed game. So 10 minutes can be a long time for some types of games, but it can also be a short time for some games. So if I'm thinking about like multiplication facts, maybe I would do 2 to 3 minutes on their fast facts so they can start, getting engaged and excited while they're playing the game, something like that. But if I'm doing something else, I might not have it so short. I might do a 10-minute one because if you notice my items were a little bit longer to read, they might need some more time. It also matters how many items you have. So with like math facts, you usually only have about 12. And, with the questions like I had on Macbeth, I had a lot more questions. They were a lot longer, so I might give them more time. So that's where the time factor comes in. The race, you set a goal, you set a monetary goal, and the first one to reach that goal wins. And then all in, they try to make as much money as they can, but the game ends when there's a collective total. So that explains that right here. So you can set this to whatever you want. As you can see, what are the good settings? I'm still trying to figure that out. So that can be, something that maybe we can talk about if you pop over into the discussion board. Okay, so class. So you can name your class once they start signing up. So that's something that will kind of come in a later date. Starting cash, if you want to start them with say $20, because then they can buy certain things. They can buy power-ups, they can buy freezes. I have a tendency to play with them, so they freeze me all the time because I'll be going through real fast and went in and they want to stop me so they can get more time. So that's kind of fun. Handicap, you won't be able to go below a certain amount. So if this is, I guess, a good way to maybe help the kids who maybe were absent the day before and you're using this as a review or something. You can give them a handicap because as they're going through and answering the questions, not only are they competing, but they're also learning the answers. So that handicap, maybe they answer the first 5 wrong, but then they start learning the answers as they go. So that's maybe just a different way to look at it. Allow players to view the correct answer after answering it incorrectly. That kind of goes with that if the kid's absent the day before, something along those lines, or if you're going to make them struggle throughout the whole game because they didn't study. If you want music on, if you want clapping, if players are allowed to join in late. And then this is where the power-ups and so on come in. So power-ups is like if they answer a certain amount of questions, say they answer 4 questions, all good, they're all set, they'll get like extra points, or they'll get I don't know. There's just like a bunch of extra things that they can have. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then the themes, that's just kind of more for them, their view and stuff like that. Clean power-ups only. So there, as I was saying, there's one that can freeze the screen on the student or blur the screen for the student. They do this to me all the time. So I go behind and they earn more points faster than I do. So what happens is like the whole screen will blur and you can't see any of the questions. Or I won't be able to do anything on my screen. So it's a lot of fun to play with them if and it also helps you learn what they're looking at too. So maybe we'll even start a game in the discussion board if you pop over. All right, so I'm going to click continue once I have all my settings set. And it's this simple. All they have to do is go to gimkit.com/live. I usually put this in Google Classroom and in the chat just so no one gets confused. And I'll put the code in the chat also, and their names will start appearing. So as you can see, I added myself here. And one thing that I want you to be able to see is if you see someone, maybe I always prompt them to put a name that's appropriate because they get to choose their name. You definitely want to hit remove from game if you see that they have an appropriate name, or if maybe you see someone pop in that might not but shouldn't. So you can see that here I am, Lockhart, and we're all set. So I'm going to click start game. And here it is. It's this simple. So as I'm watching the students as they are gaining points. Okay, so I'll answer a question real fast. And you can see as I'm answering the questions, I'm earning cash. And it will give you like a whole sum of the cash because we did the collective sum. And that's pretty much it. So if you notice up here, there's a couple options. I'm going to turn the music off. So this one turns the music off. This one is something that we wouldn't be using because the chats are shut off anyway, but remote communication, what it does is it allows you to have a Zoom, which kids can't use, and YouTube live stream, and I believe the chat feature is turned off, so they couldn't communicate anyway. But the purpose behind this is if you had them in teams, they could kind of communicate how they were going to strategize winning the game as a group. And then we have Endgame. So I'm going to click Endgame. And it'll tell me who won. And sometimes I'll give them extra credit or, some type of incentive to try and win at the top. So you have these options over here. You have view report option. So the report's kind of neat. It tells you how many responses the kids answer, how many of them they answer correctly, how many of them they answer incorrectly. So this is actually a really easy, great tool because you can go in and see, which ones they answered incorrectly and how much accuracy that they had. I've even used this as a quiz. So you can see, like, if they go through and you have them even get the right answer, that if they went through the first, 3 rounds answering the same question wrong, that they didn't study or they didn't read or, whatever. So sometimes I've used it as a quiz and it's really, I really like it. I think it's great. And then that's pretty much it. We can go back to Gimkit over here. We can start a new one. You can print the reports if you want to, I don't know, maybe you can create a lesson that goes with the ones that were wrong. I just think it's a really great tool, and I hope you use it.